Chelsea host Arsenal. And my first question is going to be to Colleen. And it's, should Chelsea be scared of Arsenal?
Yes.
Why?
I mean, you've just kind of set me up for this as well. You've kind of gone on a little bit of a monologue around Chelsea. And I just think, as an Arsenal fan, putting it into perspective of where we are and how well we've been playing, if I can't feel confident going to Stamford Bridge now for a win, at what point can I go to Stamford Bridge and feel, I think we're edging favourites, considering last season, the season before that, when we were out of form and still managed to pick some points up. So I'm talking about the history and context around it, where we've kind of found ourselves out of, like, which no one expected us to be. And I think we kind of want to ride this out for as much as possible. And I like Graham Potter. I'm not sure it's 100% clicking just yet. And that's understandable. I mean, the context, you know, how many games and all of his players and things like that. I just think as an Arsenal fan, if I can't be confident now, then when can I ever be confident?
When you're the underdog, because that's normally when you do well against us, to be fair.
I honestly think this will be
This is the one where you're going to go and absolutely dominate us at Stamford Bridge.
Well, no. I don't think it'll be a dominant performance. Okay. I don't think we played as well as how we started the season with. I think the last 4, 5, even 6 games, we've kind of just been getting over the line a little bit, which, you know, you don't really care about if you're picking up 3 points. Man.
No, Colleen, sorry, man. That smells. This team has got 0 wing backs, right? They barely got much going forward anyway.
I just said we're gonna win. I just said we're gonna win.
They ain't. I'm not being funny. Chelsea, they haven't beat you at Stamford Bridge since about 2018. And you're talking about scraping results. What about them then?
No. I didn't say we'd scrape the Chelsea result. I'm talking about recently, the last 4 or 5 games, take away Nottingham Forest because they're awful. We haven't been playing the explosive football that we have been for our first 5 games, which is a fact. That's just true. Against Chelsea, though, I can see us conceding. I can see us scoring a lot, similar to how the Liverpool game went.
A lot? You think you'll score a lot?
I think we'll end up scoring. I think it'll be like a high-scoring game, like a 3-2.
Okay.
Personally, I think similar to how the Liverpool game went in terms of how Arsenal, where we played quite well, but we still somehow gave them a chance to get back into the game. We still gave them a chance, and I think that's where we still need a little bit of refining in the bigger games. That's why I say I don't think it'll be dominant in the sense 2-0, 3-0.
Okay, so who was the game that you've lost this season in the league?
United, and
it was away, was it not?
It was away.
So
I'm still confident.
No, I think you have every right to be confident. I have to be honest, but the question has to be, from my point of view, is we are massively depleted. There is absolutely no expectation on us to go and beat top of the league Arsenal, right? Do your players deal with that? Because that's essentially what happened when you went to Old Trafford. Is you were top of the league, you were dominant as anything, and then you did not turn up.
I think with Old Trafford, I think a lot of Arsenal fans as well will agree. I think a little bit of that is on Arteta. I don't think he set up correctly to go to Old Trafford. Whether, no matter what vein of form we're in, doesn't matter, or what United side we were playing at the time, what form they were in, we were still going to Old Trafford. There's still that history. The fans are all up for it.
That.
No, it's true.
No, because I had loads of grief from you, man.
I still thought we were going to win prior to the game. Once I saw the game and saw the way Arteta set up, and with the way we played Lokongos, we still haven't managed to get the best out of him. He was at fault, really, for all the goals we conceded in that game. Every single one. It all started from him. Well,
William Saliba for those goals.
We're not going to talk about William Saliba. We're not going to talk about him. But I think it was a little bit more on the overall in-game management was on Arteta that game, personally. So I think if he learns from that, we have a great chance at Stamford Bridge. However, as we touched upon earlier, I think Arsenal was slowly getting rid of this bozo gene, but it's not really gone. I think we're still capable of causing our own downfall. So if I was a Chelsea fan, I'm thinking, where can I exploit Arsenal? I think, let Arsenal be Arsenal at times, where they might overcomplicate things, or with your Gabriels, or if you can get Xhaka a bit more defensively rather than further up front, if you can push him back, he'll make a mistake. So those are the areas. But I still think we're going to win, but I'm not saying that we're amazing. It's going to be 5-0, completely dominant, and no matter how depleted you are, I just don't think we will be.
So that there's a potential scenario. Obviously, we don't know if it happens, but there is a potential scenario now that Azpilicueta seems to be injured and Chilwell's out. There's a chance that Chelsea play a back 4 of something along the lines of Chalobah at right back, Thiago Silva, Koulibaly, and Cucurella. Right? Now, if you then whack someone like Zakaria or Zakaria, I don't actually know how to say his name, in front of that back 4, and then put someone like Jorginho, Kovacic, an absolute workhorse in there as well, Do you think that Arsenal have got enough quality to break that down? Because I've seen Chelsea teams down the years. I remember one particular game away at Everton, a place we never played that well. We lost 1-0. They had 4 centre halves across the back 4, and we could not break them down.
I think that's a great question.
Is,
yeah,
with the way that Arsenal play, do you think they have enough quality and enough experience to break down that absolutely massive unit? Because you haven't necessarily done it yet.
Well, you've literally took the words out of my mouth, because at home, I think it was against, I can't remember who it was against. A couple of times we've kind of faced like a low block, two banks of 4. And what Arsenal have done is managed to pin back each member of that back 4 and create an overload on the side, so there's a free man in. So that's what we've kind of done, but that's been at home.
Yeah.
Away from home, I'm a little bit skeptical as to whether we're going to rise to the occasion and keep that pressure, because that overload and the way we pin back the back 4 only works with sustained periods of pressure. It's not going to work outside of that. So I'm as skeptical as you are. I don't know.
So
is my answer.
However,
with the lineup you just lined up on paper, I'm licking my lips a little bit at the back 4.
So which particular bit?
I mean, I haven't rated Cucurella currently at Chelsea. Chalobah, I'm not really on the train, I'll be honest with you. Okay. I think he has a potential for a bit of lapse in judgment, personally.
The reason I asked the question is, you say you've broken down teams potentially before, haven't
more at home though, as I said, more at home.
And
so it's different.
Lesser opposition.
Yes.
Is Chalobah, to be fair, there was a stupid stat I read the other day on Chelsea Twitter that I think Chelsea have only lost 1 game now. I think it was the Brighton game at the other weekend, where Chalobah has started. So, I mean, you're thinking about the win percentage of when he is in. Obviously, that's a very standalone stat by itself. But you've broken down teams that play that back 4, that play deep, but they haven't got Chalobah, who is arguably the weakest of that back 4, would be better than a lot of teams' whole back 4 together. Do you know what I mean? So it's the question is you've broken
will we rise
down
to the
before,
occasion?
but will you do it against
So what do you expect?
Let me reverse that question on you. Do you believe this Arsenal team is good enough to break down Chelsea and beat you?
Yes, I do. It's just a case of how they do it. They are definitely capable of doing it. Technically, they've got all the players they need to do it. But will they do it is a different matter. This is where the mentality thing comes in. I personally, I think this Arsenal team is very good, I have to say, and I'll hold my hands up and say that. But you're in the Europa League and you're on a good run. Fair enough. You're playing what's in front of you. You can't do anything about that. As we said earlier, you're playing what's in front of you. But when you've gone up against those big teams, and that's why kind of going back to that Man United game, you didn't necessarily rise to the occasion. If you're doing it continuously, and you've already won the group, so you was comfortable in midweek anyway. But realistically, if you've got to do that over a sustained period of time, I think that's what's starting to creep into the kind of Arsenal mentality a little bit at the moment, is because when it was all going in their favour and they were playing against rubbish teams in the Europa League and then playing and focusing purely pretty much on the Premier League, different matter. You've also got, I don't know who did you draw in the League Cup, which is the week?
Brighton.
Brighton, okay. So another Premier League side, then you would have to still think about.
You've got Man City, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, we've got City. I know that. Yeah, we're out. But yeah, I always hate that because the final's on my birthday every year. Now I'm not going to be able to enjoy it. But
we didn't enjoy it last year, did you?
No, I didn't. I haven't enjoyed it for the last 3 years. It's been awful. But yeah, no, the reason I asked the question is because, again, that big team playing those European competitions followed by a big game. Well, you were at home, weren't you, in midweek?
Yes, we were at home.
So if have it been away, do you think the potential of the whole travel involved, and again, it's a crap team down the bottom of your group anyway. Was it Zurich?
Yes.
Didn't really know they had a team, to be honest with you. But that's the reason I asked the question, is just because, are you going to do it continuously? Because that's the thing I really want to say about Arsenal, is it's not about doing it in the league, it's about doing it in all
fronts. I mean, I think every Arsenal fan's the same. The proof's in the pudding. Until we see it, we don't know. And I think there's a lot that's been made as well. I think we have a really strong first 11, 12, pushing 13 players. Beyond that, it gets really paper thin. So
I'll throw this at you as a potential scenario. And I really like Gabriel Jesus. I'm not about this on the old flops and whatever. I think he's a really good player. But what about if you go behind? if you go behind, if you say you go 2-0 down or 1-0 down or whatever, who's going to be the person you bring off the bench and it changes everything? Who's going to be that next man up? Because I don't think Arsenal have got it. And that's why I have a little bit of confidence in this, because we should, on paper, we should not be winning. But this is an opportunity. If Chelsea take the lead, we could really dominate this game. We could.
I think that's your route to win. I think you just explained your route to winning the game. I think that's
take the lead, basically.
Take the lead and then hope for the best, essentially. Because you're right, off the bench it's very light, especially with ESR out, who's probably the 12th player I was kind of alluding to. Vieira's not really adapted to the physicality of the league just yet. He's kind of looked a little bit better in Europe or against Brentford. Apart from that, he's not really risen to the occasion. So you're right. It's all about, that's why I say a lot of it is on Arteta to a degree, because he's got to get creative with the team he does have, that first 11, 12 players. And if it's not going his way, he's got to change things with the current players on the pitch and try and get them to use their own creativity or try and tweak things tactically. So I think you're right.
Managerial battle, do you think, and genuine question is, do you think that Arteta is better than Graham Potter? Because the reason I asked this question is against Man United, Potter completely identified that something was not going right, and just like that changed it. And Chelsea were a lot better after the half-hour mark. And I haven't ever actually really seen Arteta do that.
I think I would give Graham Potter the edge, but that doesn't mean I'm unhappy with Arteta or anything like that at all. I just think with Arteta, I think a lot of Arsenal fans will agree that, especially in games, I don't think any of us have ever been really happy in terms of. He's still quite naive. That's why I alluded to the Man United game. We all knew just after we'd scored, he made 3 subs at once, and it completely ruined us in terms of the balance of play. And then that's why I refer to Lokonga, because it was all on Arteta. And we've seen that a few times in the league. So, and that's, again, it's not to say Arteta's a bad manager, not up and coming. He's won a trophy with us, but naive.
That's an interesting question that you posed there, though. Like, I'm gonna go to the rivals here. We've heard from the Arsenal and Chelsea contingent. Right now, you've got a managerial opening and you've got 2 candidates.
Mick Arteta.
You'd pick Arteta over Potter?
100%.
No.
Why?
I think he's someone that I've seen transform a team from being really kind of down in the dumps. And now it looks like they're currently challenging for a title. I haven't seen that from Potter. And although, look, Potter's done amazing in terms of what he did with Brighton, what he's done abroad as well, and they're I don't know, I would want to say they're quite level. Potter just reminds me of Brendan Rodgers. That when Liverpool signed Brendan Rodgers was the guy. He was Swansea. He's do you know what I mean? Joe Allen, the Welsh Pirlo,
flavor of the month.
Do you know what I mean? But it was like he's this technical genius. He's this British manager. That's amazing. He got to the big job, and if he didn't have Suarez, that title challenge would have never happened. And then you saw kind of how it ended with Rodgers. And look, he's a decent manager, but I've seen Arteta. Look, to go to Arsenal was a tough job for your first managerial opening, and to see how well he's coped with that, I go and put that ahead of what Potter's done currently. But that's not to say Potter can't go to Chelsea and change stuff around. He has spent a lot of money
though, Arteta.
Yeah,
no, he
spent it well, to give credit where it's due. But
that's what it is. But I've also got to remember that the money that they're spending, they're not a City where they could just go and get anyone.
Of course, yeah,
and on top of that, what pool does Mikel Arteta have? So the project and the way he's had to go and coach these players is at a different level to what a manager at Chelsea would do because of the bank, because of the money.
And I think I think what's interesting with it, I rate Graham Potter, I really do, but you never know how. You know, like we see players and you go, oh, he could kill it for people say a player from the past. People say Matt Letizia could have played for any of the top teams, but we'll never know because we don't know how he would handle the pressure of playing for those teams. And I always remember Dimitar Berbatov talk about how when he was at top, he was at Bayer Leverkusen, Champions League finalist, goes to Tottenham, big Premier League team. He thought he understood pressure, and then he said he went to Man United, and it was just the difference in feeling around the football club was palpable. So you never know until someone's there, and you've now got Graham Potter at a big club. But Kaj, you said no, you'd pick Potter.
Yeah, all day long. Not just because he's sitting next to me. Like you got your red side, you got the blue side, even though we're in red and white. But it's just nah, Potter all day long. If you told me, right, who'd you rather have with the funds, Potter or Arteta to build a squad in 3 seasons, 2 seasons and a bit, I'm picking Potter.
Why would you pick Potter?
I just like the way he can control the whole game. For one, like what he's done with Brian, I think it's evident. I actually quite like Arteta. I do rate him, to be fair, but I just feel like when it comes to in-game management, a little bit I think he's got that edge. I think man management, I think they might be on equal terms, but you got to rate Arteta's man management. I think all the players love him.
Aubameyang didn't.
Well, yeah, not everyone's going to be your favorite team,
but that's the point. But that's the point.
Yeah.
Even the way he dealt with that Aubameyang situation, the way he's gone and dealt with, for example, Xhaka coming back into the team. Do you know what I mean? And keeping him about and getting them on side.
I'm going to go to Craigo and Kaz first. 2-1 Chelsea, 3-2 Chelsea.
This is Kaz just being a hater. You're being a hater. Stop it.
I actually need Arsenal to beat Chelsea technically, but I wish for a draw. But I'd rather Arsenal win. But I just think Chelsea's gonna win because I just don't like Arsenal.
Fair enough.
Pure agenda. We love it.
Yeah.
And yourselves?
3-1 Arsenal, of course.
1-1.
1-1.
Oh, an
Aubameyang
equaliser. Oh, okay. I like that. Okay.
Decent. Mine will be revealed tomorrow on my personal preview on the Football Terrace. So make sure you're
Bottle
tuning
job.
in. I'm not a bottle job.
Ooh, yes.
Mate, I'm a content creator. If I reveal it now, I'm doing a gym from American Pie. Not too soon, gents. Not too soon.